I was by myself at home a few years ago, and a really bad storm hit. I lived alone in a smaller house in the suburbs. It was probably about 8 p.m. when it started raining. Just before sunset, I had noticed that the clouds were pretty dark, and it seemed that a storm was brewing. The wind also picked up, and just after sunset, it started raining. Things picked up quite a bit, and I remember that there was a severe thunderstorm warning in my area as well. I was just staying inside and having a normal night, other than hearing the thunder outside occasionally. But about 20 or 30 minutes into the storm, the power suddenly went out. My TV shut off, the lights went out, and it became pitch black. Everything went silent as well. Now I could only hear the sound of the falling rain outside and the thunder. It was not that uncommon for the power to go out in a really bad storm. It had happened a couple of times over the years that I had lived there. Usually it would not be out for too long, maybe a couple of hours at most. I went on my phone for a while because I couldn't do much else. Then I went over to the front window and looked out, just watching the storm. The rain was still coming down very heavy. I could see my entire front yard and then parts of the street and a couple of neighbors' houses. As I sat there looking out the front window for a while, I noticed somebody walking down the street. This was odd because there was no sidewalk on my street, but it was also weird to see somebody out walking in such a thunderstorm. The person was wearing a black rain jacket and appeared to be a man, but I couldn't see very well. He walked down the street in front of my house, and then I left the window and sat back down on the couch. For probably about the next 10 minutes, I was just on my phone and sitting on the couch in the living room. But then, I remember it kind of sounded like somebody was trying to open the back door to my house. It instantly made me a little bit nervous, but I quickly thought that possibly it was just the sound of something else. I mean, the storm was sort of loud. Maybe something got blown into the back door or something. I couldn't hear that well, but with the power being out, I did hear things from outside much better. So I walked around slowly to the back end of the house. That's where my kitchen was, and I looked out of a back window. Because my house was so dark, I had much better visibility looking out the back. When I did, I looked near the door but saw nothing. This made me feel better until I looked around the rest of the yard. When I did, I noticed that the same man who I had seen walking down the street was back there. My backyard was not very big. The man was at the far side near the fence and walking towards the corner of the yard. It appeared as though he might walk into my next door neighbor's backyard. I had no idea who this guy was or what he was doing, and it was still pouring rain out. I thought that the man might look over and see me in the window, so I moved away from it and I went back towards my living room. I didn't really know what to do about this situation. I stayed in the living room for maybe the next 20 to 30 minutes. Then I heard a knocking sound coming from the back door to my house. It was really surprising to me. I was sure that the man in the backyard had been leaving, but I knew that this had to be him. The knocking was very loud and startling. I got up and walked back to look to the window, but when I got there, nobody was at the door. I looked out of a back window and all around my yard. However, I did not see anybody. I kept looking for like 10 minutes, but never saw anything. I went back into the living room after that. There were no more knocks or strange noises. Less than an hour later, the storm stopped and my power was restored. I kept an eye out back for the rest of the night though, but didn't see the guy again. This took place last summer. I was at home by myself one evening. I live with my husband, but he was at a sports game with one of his friends, and I knew that he would be gone until much later. It was a normal night, and probably about 9 p.m. or so. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the power went out. Everything went black, and I found this to be really strange. It was not storming outside, so I didn't know why this would happen. I knew that we had paid the electric bill like always, so at that point, I went on my phone and onto the app of our electric company that we have. I looked to see if there were any reported power outages in the area. Sometimes, if there are, it will say the cause of it, and it will also say when the power should be restored. so when I logged onto the app, I did not see any information about it. I was trying to figure it out on there for a few minutes, but did not have any luck. As I was doing this, I then heard the sound of glass breaking coming from the back of my house. It was very loud and alarming, especially because everything was so quiet and dark. I could only see from the light on my phone, and I got up and used it to guide my way to the back side of the house. When I got closer, I heard some noises coming from near the back door area. When I finally got within view of the back door, I suddenly stopped. I saw that the window to the back door was smashed, and an arm was reaching its way inside. Somebody was right outside of the door. I couldn't see who it was, but it really freaked me out, and I instantly turned in the other direction. I ran away and went as fast as I could to the bedroom. It was hard to see, but I was able to make it there. When I got inside of the bedroom, I quickly closed the door behind me and then locked it. Then I went all the way into the bedroom closet and hid inside. When I got there, I called the police on my phone. I said how somebody had broken into my house, and because of how quiet it was, I heard the back door open and the guy walk in. I did not know who it was or what he looked like, but I gave the police as much information as I could. The thing that really mattered was that there were officers on their way to my house. So I heard the guy walking around inside for a few moments, but when I got off the phone with the police, I didn't really hear him anymore. I listened closely, but heard nothing. I wasn't really sure what was going on. Still, I didn't dare move or make a sound, and I remained hidden inside of the bedroom closet. I was afraid that any second I would either hear footsteps outside of the door or hear the door starting to turn. If this guy broke the back door window to get in, who knows what he would do? There was probably a way that he could break down the bedroom door despite it being locked. As time went by though, I still didn't hear anything. Within 10 minutes, the police had arrived. They made their way into the house through the back door. Then they searched the entire house, and when they made it to the bedroom, I finally left. However, the police never found the man. The window was still smashed to the back door, and the back door was also left open, but the guy was gone. The police even searched around the neighborhood a little bit, but whoever had broken in had left and was nowhere in sight. And inside the house, everything remained in place. Nothing was stolen or anything. But the police found that the power lines had been cut, probably by the man who broke in. Why he did this, I don't know. I'm guessing it wasn't an accident. I called my husband and he came home. The police then left after getting information about the incident. Since this has happened, we got the window replaced and also installed security cameras. Nothing else suspicious has happened though.